See if we are live. We are live. Hey everyone, this is Walt from Mouse Talk with our Avengers Endgame special live stream. Was thinking about whether or not I wanted to do this today, and I know that the official Endgame Avengers trailer just dropped about 24 hours ago. Hey Steve, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. I just couldn't hold off on this. The Avengers Endgame trailer dropped yesterday, folks. And Walt too. Hey John. Hey Steve. Welcome in, guys. For those who are watching on the replay today, we're just going to do a quick live stream. Just wanted to touch base. A lot of people have been doing, hey Brian, what's up, buddy? They've been doing their reactions to Avengers Infinity War Endgame, it's called, for the final piece to a 10-year journey. When I guess by next year it'll be an 11-year journey that Marvel has brought us on with this Endgame movie. And I thought today we'd just do a quick live stream to talk about it. I just couldn't hold off any longer, and I just had to kind of get it out, what I thought of it, kind of some theories. See if anybody kind of noticed maybe one or two of the Easter eggs that were in the trailer as well, and kind of get your opinion on it. What did you think of the trailer? Hey, Disney Dan, what's up, Dan? What's up, R-Johns? How you guys doing? Just a surprise live stream today. We had to talk about Avengers Endgame. Just had to be something we talked about. Brian says it's going to be a holy you-know-what movie. It probably will be, Brian. I'll be honest with you. And that's kind of some of the things we'll talk about. I wanted to kind of get your opinion on it, guys, what you thought of it, and gals. What you thought of it. Did you like the trailer? Were you surprised by anything? What you think of theories-wise, what might happen down the road, any of the Easter eggs of what you might have seen that maybe we didn't see, or things we might have saw that maybe you didn't. Just a lot of different stuff that we'll kind of talk about. So I appreciate everybody that's out there. Thank you for dropping in. Again, I know it was kind of a last-minute surprise stream, but I wanted to do it because it's just something that right now is a buzz all over the YouTube community, and especially the Disney and Marvel community, and we just had to talk about it for sure. So thanks for joining in. And for me, I have seen, as I'm pulling up my my phone here, I have seen the trailer now probably 6 times. I think that's about how many times I've seen it at this point. And I'll say this about it from what I've seen. And again, you guys can definitely chime in and let me know what you think as well. I wasn't overly expecting to get a lot of information from this trailer. I knew they wouldn't give us a lot of content, but I expected maybe a little bit more on where their journey was, of what their path was for a story. I think I know where they're going with it, and I think the very last scene kind of gives the direction. I liked it. I thought it was good. It was heavy on Tony Stark and heavy on Cap, and I think there's probably a reason for that. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. I love the fact that we got to see Hawkeye come back as Ronin, who I'm assuming he now is. So I thought that was really, really cool. But overall, it was the type of trailer I kind of expected to get. One with a little bit, obviously kind of get you excited, but not giving away too much. What do you guys think? I thought it was really, really cool. I love the fact that they showed us two people that weren't in the last movie, in Ant-Man and Hawkeye. They made sure that they were prominent in this trailer, which I thought was also very appealing, because I know for my son, my youngest, he really loves Hawkeye, so he was ecstatic to see him in it. I'll have to check that out, Brian. I definitely will. And Hawkeye looks really cool, and I'm assuming he's now Ronin, and it looks like he's really upset. And I think Melissa brought this up, and I thought it was a really good point, is I wonder if maybe all of his family vanished from the snap, and maybe that's why he's kind of gone over the edge, because he looks really upset, like he's like vengeance is on his mind. So I wonder if that's it. Yeah, Dan, there's definitely a lot of mystery to the trailer, and it definitely does set the tone, and I think it's going to be a kind of a bittersweet tone for sure in the end, but I think it's going to be one that's going to be a lot of fun. You know, Brian, I don't know if he will be. Now, he was introduced in the first, or was it the second? You guys will know more than me. He was introduced at the end as one of the end credit scenes on one of the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. So, we'll see. He might be included in it. I think he might be a part of the future of Marvel going forward as we pass the torch on to some of the new characters. So we'll have to see how that goes. I'm not really sure what they'll do in that respect. But if you guys could, I always forget this, but if you could, please give us a like on the stream, on the channel. We definitely would appreciate that. Also, if you could maybe tweet it out to others and share it, that would be great as well. But it was Guardians 2. That's it, Dan. Thank you for sure. But again, thinking about the trailer, what I noticed in the trailer, I don't know if you guys did too, is a couple things from me that I noticed right away. First off, I noticed that when they were showing the scene with Bruce Banner and the people that were missing, one of the ones that they showed was Shuri, who a lot of people, we didn't really see whether or not she did or didn't disintegrate. So I'm wondering if that means, did she disintegrate like her brother, you know? Or did she not disintegrate, and maybe she's just in hiding? We don't know, but she was one of the faces that they showed there, and I thought that was really interesting. I don't know if folks caught that. Oh, see, I didn't notice that, Brian. I didn't notice his cocoon in the collector's collection. That's pretty cool. That's interesting. How about that? But I really enjoyed that part. I thought that was pretty neat that they kind of threw her in there as one of the people that was missing. I also noticed, and again, I'm a big Cap fan anyway, but if you noticed, Cap didn't have the beard, and he didn't have the dark hair anymore. He was clean-shaven, he was going back to the blonde look, and he wore his Winter Soldier outfit in one of those scenes. And I wonder if that's kind of a telltale of something. Maybe that's the fact that they're going to go back in time, maybe, and he has to dress the part. But we'll have to see. But I thought it was very, very cool to see Cap dressed like that again. Also, I thought the scenes with Tony in the very beginning talking to Pepper was pretty emotional, for sure. And what's going to be interesting is to see how he's going to get out of that scenario. Now, I know he's on that ship. I'm assuming he's just on the ship with Gamora's sister, Nebula, because she's the only other one from that group that didn't disintegrate. And I don't know that it'll affect her because she's mostly machine than she is person. Hey, Noah, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. How you doing? But what did you guys think? What were some of the things you noticed about the trailer that you liked or that you didn't like? Absolutely, Dan. She's definitely going to have a big role. She's probably Marvel's version of Superman, in my opinion. Very unbeatable, has major powers. She's probably the most powerful Marvel character out there. So I'm sure she'll have a major, major part in the movie. I agree 100%. And, hey, Chris, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. Thanks for joining us. Again, I really appreciate everybody dropping in. I know it was kind of a last-minute thing, but we had to talk about Avengers Endgame. Everybody's been doing their reaction videos and stuff like that. And I really don't know how to do that, to be able to incorporate the video in with real-time me. So I said, oh, well, heck, we'll just do a live stream. Yes, Farmer Thanos. Something tells me he's not going to be a farmer for long. He's going to have to get back into the business of kicking some alien butt, I'm sure. But there were a couple little things that they showed here and there. They didn't really show Thanos a lot. They just showed his hand a little bit. It did remind me of Gladiator 2, Disney. Dan, I agree 100%. That's the first thing I thought of is when you see Maximus, running his hand across the I guess that's, I don't know what it was, the grass or whatever it was. I agree. I thought the same exact thing. So we'll be interested. I'll be interested to see that. Now, see, Brian, I didn't notice that. Century, when you say Rob Reynolds, I didn't notice that at all. What scene was that in? But it looks pretty good. Again, I wasn't expecting to get a ton of information off this trailer. They're going to try to be as secret as they can. They want to keep plot, story, and a lot of the big wow stuff and shock stuff for the movie itself, and they don't want that stuff to leak. But I'm really interested to see how they'll move forward with it. And this is kind of the last movie. This is the movie that's going to pass the torch. This is where you'll see some new characters start to become the frontline characters, where you'll see people like, I'm assuming, and again, major spoilers in this live stream, folks. But this is where you'll see people like Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Captain Marvel. Those type characters will be the ones who, Spider-Man, move forward, will be the main characters, the ones that we'll be following. And they'll incorporate new ones as well, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what they'll do. And then, you'll see some of the older characters like Thor, Cap, Tony, you know, Bruce Banner, Hulk, all those characters will probably kind of fade off into the background. You won't see them that much, if at all. Yeah, we'll see, Dan. We'll see how he does it. We'll see. You know, we'll have to see exactly how, you know, the Russo brothers decide to go their path with this entire movie. Because, you know, when they did Civil War was different than the comics. It was, you know, it was still Tony against Cap in a lot of ways, but it was they took it in a different take than what you saw in the comics, which I thought they did a good job with, and I think they'll do that to an extent with the Infinity Gauntlet comics here with this last movie. But moving forward, again, I think, now me personally, these Marvel movies are cash cows for Disney. They really, really are. And I'll be interested to see how they do once these main characters kind of fade off into the sunset and we move on to new characters. Do you guys think Disney it'll still be this major box office hits after hit after hit, or do you think maybe it'll come down a level? Brian, thanks, Noah. I appreciate you sharing it, buddy. I would love to see Silver Surfer. Now that Disney owns Fox's movie rights, you definitely will. I think you will see him down the road. I think he's one of those characters that is extremely, extremely likable. Somebody that people want to see in the movies. And I'll be honest with you, the Fantastic Four movie, Rise of the Silver Surfer, I didn't hate that movie. I know a lot of people thought it was terrible, but I really enjoyed him as the Silver Surfer in that movie. They had Lawrence Fishburne do the voice of the Silver Surfer in that movie, and he was really good. And I really enjoyed that part of the movie. So I would love to see that. Squirrel Girl 2, Dan, I would like to see that. And I think you might see that down the road. You might see a Squirrel Girl movie, for sure. But I'm interested to see how they're going to do this. Do you think, is it going to be a time travel thing, or is it going to be the time vortex? You know, I'm interested to see which way they go with this. And what's also interesting to me, and I want to hear from you guys too, how did Scott Lang get out of the time vortex that he was stuck in? Because you remember, at the end of Ant-Man and Wasp, he was in there and he couldn't get out. Everybody disappeared. So I'll be interested to see how they're going to do that. How did he get out of there? And I think he's the key. In my opinion, I think he's the key to the movie. He's the one that's going to be able to show them what they can use. But did you notice in the one scene with Cap, he was looking at a picture of Peggy Carter? I think there's a significant reason for that. I think they're showing that for a reason. I think there's a reason why they're showing Tony talking to Pepper and Cap looking at Peggy Carter. Brian says time travel is a stupid MacGuffin. Maybe so, but you got to kind of suspend belief a little bit and just kind of roll with it when it comes to these movies. I think that's the whole point. But I thought the trailer was really, really cool. Now, there was word today that there was also going to be a Spider-Man Far From Home trailer dropping today. We'll have to see. And nothing's come out yet, but we'll have to see if it comes out or not. But I want to know what you guys think. Were you happy with the trailer? Were you disappointed in it? Did you think it gave you enough to hold you over? Or were you hoping for a little bit more? Well, Brian, you know, to an extent, that's what Thanos did. He took when they destroyed the last stone at the end of Infinity War. What did he do? He used the time stone. He turned back time about 5 minutes, and he got the stone. So he used it. Now, that was the other thing, Brian. And Dan, I'm telling you, I don't know, I could be totally wrong, but I don't know that, well, maybe they will go that route. Do you think they'll really go that route, that's how they'll do it? They'll let a secondhand character who's not a major character be the one that ultimately wins and is the one that you know, takes him out? They might. They very well might. I'll be interested to see. I didn't realize that because I don't remember that in the comics. But that'll be interesting. That'll be really, really interesting. I'd love to see if they'll do that or not. And Brian, that's a good point too. Did you guys notice that, like they did with Infinity War, they now moved the movie up from May to April? because they did the exact same thing last year with Infinity War. That movie was supposed to be in April, and then they moved it up a week or so into, I mean, it was supposed to be in May, and then they moved it up to April, and they did it again with this movie. Chris, I agree. I agree. Some movies do show too much in trailers, and sometimes those same trailers, they show the only good parts of a movie. Melissa mentioned that the other day, and she's right. They do. Sometimes that's all they show are the good parts. And I agree, but I want just a little bit, what I'd like in trailers are something to show me your path, what your story's going to be about. That's what I want. I don't need a lot of information. Just tell me, okay, this is what the movie's about. This is where they're trying to go. That's what I'm looking for. But I get it. So Nebula did do it in the comic books. That's interesting. We'll have to see. I agree. She definitely will. Well, she'll have to have a massive role, Dan, to be honest with you, because there's very few characters left for anybody to really have a big point or a big part in the movie. I think her name is Karen Gillan, who plays the part of Nebula, does an excellent job, and I think the character's very interesting. So if she's the one that did him in the end, in the Infinity Gauntlet, then they probably will go that route. They tend to, when it comes to the major plot points, they tend to stick to them. So I'll be interested to see that. How about that? You know, I don't know, Chris. I don't know if Adam Warlock's going to be in this at all, but he might be, because that might be a good way to introduce a new character moving forward who can be a significant character. So it very well could happen. Very well could happen. Well, that's what I thought too, Chris. That's who I thought was ultimately going to be the one that was going to save the day, or at least help save the day, was Captain Marvel. I thought that she was going to be the one that was ultimately going to be the one that took him down. But maybe not. Maybe she's just the one who will help them, and ultimately it might be Nebula who takes him out. Brian, I'm sure that with another, well, you know what? Another Guardians movie is now kind of been put on hold, so Gamora might not make it back. Yep, Amy Pond from Doctor Who, that's true, yeah. Space Jesus, you're funny, Brian. But I'm not as well versed in the comics as I wish I were. So it's hard for me to really talk as to what the characters did in the comics. I mean, I knew very little about Tony Stark when the first Iron Man came out. I didn't think there was much to that character, and yet he is the focal point of the last 10 years of the Marvel movies. But moving forward, now that we're going to move on to new characters, who do you guys see as the main characters that Disney is going to focus on and rely on to be the ones that bring in the big box office hits? Who are the ones that they think, and do you think, will be the ones that Disney are going to rely on? I mean, I'm assuming Spider-Man and Black Panther are going to be two of them, but who else are they going to be? Because I'm assuming the Iron Mans, the Tony Starks, you know, the Caps, the Hulks, the Thors are all going to kind of probably be faded out at this point so they can move on to the next phase. Who do you think will be the ones that do it? Chris says Batman, wrong universe. Dan, I wish I was more of a comic guy. Moon Knight, yep, there's another one. Yep, Batman. Chris, Batman is my all-time favorite comic book character, so he's my number one. Marvel or DC, it doesn't matter. It's Batman first for me, so I wouldn't have any problem with that. Well, that's what I was thinking too, Dan. Now that they own Fox, the X-Men universe brings you a plethora of all new characters that you can focus on. And that would make total sense that they would go that route. So that could be something that they do. I agree 100%. And that would be really cool if they're able to incorporate X-Men with Spider-Man and Black Panther and kind of do crossovers and things like that, just like they've been doing. That would be fantastic. I think they could make that such a great phase to move forward. For me, I'm going to be kind of sad to see these guys go, because these are the ones that were first, and these are the ones that we kind of, I don't want to say grew up with, but these are the ones that kind of got the whole Marvel universe started, and they're the the forefathers, as I like to call them, when I'm talking about Tony and Steve Rogers and Bruce Banner and Thor and those guys. So it'll be sad to see them go away. Moon Knight, that's funny, Brian. See, I know very little about them, but I think what I also would like to see Disney do is, with their streaming service now coming on board, is Luke Cage, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, the ones from the TV shows, they could incorporate them in some way too. I hope that they do that. Dan, Dan says, would love to see Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool in the MCU. Money would be rolling in if it happened. I'll be honest with you, Dan. The money's already rolling in for Disney. And if they incorporated Deadpool, I think Deadpool's a really cool character. But I don't know that Disney is going to go to that edge when it comes to movies. Maybe they will. Maybe I'm totally wrong in this. But I can't see Disney getting major into the plots of someone like Deadpool, who can be pretty off-putting to some. I mean, I think he's hilarious and he's funny, but the type of comedy that he gets into sometimes, is that the focal point, or is that the path that Disney wants to take? Because that's not their image usually. It's not a character like Deadpool. So will they go that route, do you think? Again, Deadpool's great. Is Deadpool a good fit for Disney? Is he a good fit for what their image is and what they usually have as a vision? Is Deadpool something that is going to be good for Disney and good for Deadpool? I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen that, Chris. I heard about it. I'll have to look it up. Right, that's what you're talking about, the PG Christmas movie this month. Exactly, and that's exactly right, Dan. But is that really how we want to see Deadpool, too? See, that's why I'm saying this. I think for Disney's sake, Deadpool may not be the best fit. And for Deadpool character and fans, do you want to see a PG-rated Deadpool? Is he what you want to see? I think that's the key. And but that too, Brian, that may be funny to some, but to others, they're not going to find that to be funny. So I'll have to watch the trailer to see. Oh, the Princess Bride spin, I did see that. I'll have to show Melissa that. That did look funny. But I'm hesitant with Deadpool with Disney, because I just don't. It's some things are a match made in heaven, but with this one, I'm not sure that this one is. So we'll have to see. It might be. Dan, I agree with you there. I guess that's the point. Is a PG Deadpool better than no Deadpool? Probably. We'll have to see. I mean, I think Ryan Reynolds is such a really good actor in this role that he would do it justice and could make it work. I really do. Because he's so funny that he could do, because he's funny anyway. If you've seen some of his other movies where he does comedy, he can be funny and yet not be vulgar or dirty or R-rated in the process of being funny. He could go both ways for sure. So I think they could pull it off. We'll have to see. I hope it works. But see, Brian, that's my point. Is what you're saying right there is what I think most people would think of Deadpool. A PG Deadpool? No way. And that's the thing. And I think for Disney, that would have to be the route they go. But we'll see. That's true. Chris says Thanos killed half the universe, so there's a 50% chance that one of them was Santa Claus. That's true. Oh, that is funny. But I don't know. Santa Claus is what do they call them? Like the Easter Bunny and Father Time and Mother Nature. I forgot what they call them, like mystical creatures. So he may have an exemption on that kind of stuff. He can't die. Hey, L8 on Late on Adventures, welcome in. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, we're talking Avengers and Marvel and the theories on this trailer and everything like that. And I agree 100%. Are people going to like a less edgy Deadpool? We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I'm not sure they will. I don't know if Thanos killed him or not, Brian. He might have, for all I know. But, yep, I think that what I don't want Disney to do is I think we were talking about Yes, cosmic entities, probably. Maybe that's what I mean, Brian. That could be it for Santa Claus. But I know they were talking today that the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer was possibly going to drop today, and part of me wishes that it wouldn't, because then I guess it depends on what the movie's about. Is that then automatically gives away that Spider-Man is alive and that he's coming back? So doesn't that kind of spoil it? Because now you know that he is going to come back. And I don't know. I could be totally wrong. Maybe I'm being negative Nancy. Yes, Dan. That's exactly what I was saying. Dan says, I think if Ryan Reynolds had the script to a PG Deadpool, it would work as he understands the character. Oh, I agree. I agree. Like I said, and I think he could. He could make it work. But, we'll have to see, because the people that love Deadpool, they may not love a PG-rated Deadpool, and they may not go see him. So we'll have to see. I'm really interested to see how Disney handles Deadpool moving forward. It's one of the things that fascinates me the most, is how they're going to handle that character, who is such an edgy character, for sure. Legendary figure. There you go, Late on Adventures. Thank you. Yes, Chris, that's what I was thinking too, is they could play the Far From Home as this is what happened before the Avengers movie, the snap. I agree. That could be it. No, I agree 100%. Maybe that's the route they'll take, is this is what happened before it all went down, for sure. Negative Nick. But I really hope that this Avengers movie, it's going to break. I don't know. What do you guys think? Because Black Panther made well over $700 million, I think, in the box office domestically, talking about just the United States. And Avengers Infinity War actually did not pass them domestically here in the U.S. So do you guys think that Avengers Infinity War Endgame will be Disney's overall... well, let me say Marvel, because I don't think it'll be Disney's overall top-rated, highest-grossing movie. But do you think it'll be Marvel's most highest-grossing movie moving forward? Do you think it'll pass Black Panther? Because it's not catching The Force Awakens. It's not. Well, yeah, Chris, they absolutely could do that. Chris says, or are we just going to go full comics, and there will end up being 8 billion universes, so they can kill whoever they want and just bring them back? Yes. Hey, Dean, what's going on? Welcome in, buddy. Dean, you got to go see the trailer. It's very, very good. You're going to like it. You're definitely going to like it. Chris, back to your point. Yeah, they could do that, but if they do that, doesn't it kind of make it less impactful when someone does die? If they're going to keep bringing people back all the time, it kind of makes it, takes a little bit of the oomph out of it for me if someone dies and yet they're going to come back. So we'll see. They might. Yep. They might. I don't know. We'll have to see how they do it. And let's see. Late on Adventure says, with Disney now owning Fox, they could release Deadpool under that name, so they don't have to go PG. They could. They could release it under that name. If they wanted to go that route, they could. Then they don't have to worry about it. That's a very good point. Very good point. Dean, no, it's not crazy. It's only been out about 24 hours, so, maybe a little bit more than 24 hours, so don't worry about that. But definitely go see it. I think you'll like it. It's pretty cool. You know what else I thought about when I looked at it with that trailer was, it was emotional. You're seeing Tony talking to Pepper, and you're seeing Cap looking at his old picture of Peggy Carter, and it definitely has this feeling of foreboding that this is kind of the end. This movie will be, I think, the swan song for Captain America and Iron Man. All right, Chris, if I'm sitting down to watch Star Wars or Marvel, which am I choosing? Dude, that's like a really hard question. Because the original Star Wars movies were what I grew up on. I was born 1970, so you go, you guys know my age now. And so I was 7 years old when the first Star Wars movie came out. That was my childhood. And that's what I grew up with. Marvel didn't come out until I was a grown man with my own kids. So I have a deep affinity and connection as a child to Star Wars. But that being said, the most recent Star Wars movies, the prequels, and even the newest ones, episodes 7 and 8, to me haven't been great. So I've kind of lost a little bit of steam with Star Wars. As much as I've loved it in the past, it's kind of, for me, and again, this is just my opinion, it's kind of lost a little, it's kind of disappointed me lately. So Marvel has not done that for the most part. There's a few Marvel movies here and there that I wasn't that keen on, but I didn't dislike them. So I would have to say right now, if I had to look at it, it just depends on which specific Star Wars or Marvel movies I'm watching. Because I'm probably going to choose episodes 4, 5, and 6 of Star Wars over watching Marvel. But if it's a prequel or episode 7 and 8, no, I'd probably watch Marvel. Yep. What about you? Which are you choosing? Are you choosing Star Wars or Marvel? I was always a Star Wars fan. I've just recently become more of a Marvel fan. So that's why that was it for me. But we'll have to see. And I was looking online. I saw a behind the scenes of Avengers where they showed Cap in his 1941 outfit of back then as well. So that was really cool. So there must be some sort of time travel that's being incorporated into this moving forward from what I'm seeing. I mean, it looks pretty cool to me from what I've seen so far. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. And again, more trailers coming all the time, which is always really nice. Now, see, Chris, Empire, yes. New Hope, yes. I actually like Return of the Jedi. I thought that movie was better than a lot of people gave it credit for. The Force Awakens, to me, there were two things about The Force Awakens. We're getting totally off the Avengers kick here with this live stream. But the two things about The Force Awakens that really disappointed me. Number one was it felt just like A New Hope all over again. It felt like the same script, just a little bit different. And two, Luke Skywalker wasn't in the movie at all. Whoop, I just dropped something. Whoop. But Luke Skywalker wasn't in the movie at all. He was in it for like 5 seconds. I didn't like that. I really wanted him to be in the movie. And so those were disappointing for me. So that's why Force Awakens doesn't quite measure up for me. Too much controversy, Dan. No, I love opinions, man. You're more than welcome. And late on Adventures, I totally get that. If you're going to go and pick Star Wars over Marvel, I totally get that too. If it's a brand new Marvel movie and a brand new Star Wars movie, that's a good one because I don't know. You're right. That might be a tougher pick for me. As much as I haven't been, that keen on the few Star Wars movies, when Episode 9 comes out next year, I'll be there. First day. Fair enough. I totally get that. Dean, that was my take on the trailer as well. I wasn't flabbergasted by it. I wasn't like, oh my God, best trailer I've ever seen. But I did think it was very interesting. I think it was smart. I think they set it up well. I think they really are getting you prepared and made it just good enough that it gives you enough information that you're not like, well, that didn't give me nothing. But then again, they didn't give away too much. Star Wars Force Awakens. Dan, you can say whatever you want, buddy. I'm only allowed to write 200 characters. Well, you can always do a little and then a little bit more. That's always how this stream works, Chris. That's exactly right. Yep. Dan, I think Dan's a big Star Wars Force Awakens fan. He must be. But part of that, Dan, for me too is yes, I'm one of those people that likes tradition, likes old stuff. I don't like to move on to new stuff. Well, it depends. That's why I think that's part of it too. I can't put you on the stream. It's through OBS. I'm not on I'm not on Google Hangouts. I wish I was. I can't. I don't know how to do it. I would love for Dan to get on the stream. We might have to do one, Dan. That's what we'll do, Dan. We'll do a Star Wars stream one time, and we'll talk Star Wars. And then at that point, you can tell me. TV. We know we were in the TV show. That's right. He was talking about it. That's right. I remember that. Yep. But I won't hold you guys much longer. Again, it was only going to be a quick stream. I just wanted to kind of talk. What? Wait. Well, that's my point. But I wanted. What I wanted was I wanted a new story, but I wanted the old characters incorporated into the new story with the new characters. I wanted both. I didn't want a carbon copy, Dan. So to me, a carbon copy of the same movie to me isn't traditional. It's just copying it. What I mean by traditional is having the old characters incorporated in the new movies. Having Luke, having Leia, having Han Solo, having Chewie, and all that. And they had a lot of that. But I didn't want it to be almost the exact same story. That's all I'm saying. Was they just basically took the script from A New Hope and put it in Force Awakens. You know, the little guy's got to go out and destroy the big Death Star before it destroys the whole world. So that it was the same thing. That's all I was saying. Yeah, I don't know how to do that, Dan. Dean, I'll have to look into that because I would love for Dan to come on. That would be fantastic. Unless you guys know how to do it. I just don't know how to do it. I don't know if it's in studio mode or what it is. But Late on Adventures asks, is there any character in Marvel that you like the most? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Captain America. Cap is my favorite. He's by far my favorite. He always has been. He's the quintessential good guy to me. You know, does the right thing. He's there for everybody. He's the guy. He's the guy. That's why they picked him. That's why they picked him for the serum. Not because of what he had on his arms, but because of what he had in his heart. So it would definitely be Cap for me. Late on Adventures. That's my pick. For sure. Yeah, I'm one of those people that likes the good guy to be the good guy. I know that Batman can be edgy from time to time, but Batman's a good guy too, and I like the good guys. I'm not a major bad guy fan. And I don't like my good guys usually to be have a gray area. I know it's me being Mr. Goody Two Shoes Square, but that's just me. Nightcrawler, that's a good one, Chris. Nightcrawler, I remember Nightcrawler. I definitely remember Nightcrawler. That's pretty cool. And you don't see, that's another character that they just don't use a lot of, that they could use if they wanted to. Now, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Nightcrawler in one of the X-Men movies? Wasn't he in X-Men Last Stand? I think it was Last Stand. Or was it the first X-Men? I can't remember now. But wasn't he in one of those movies? Because I thought they had incorporated him in one of them. Maybe not, but I thought they did. So they could use him again, sure. And I really like Quicksilver. I love Quicksilver. But the Quicksilver I like is the Quicksilver from X-Men with Michael Fassbender and those guys. That Quicksilver. Not the one they had in Age of Ultron. I like the other Quicksilver. I thought he was fantastic. That guy did a great job. I think it was Days of Future Past. I can't remember which one it was in, but that Quicksilver was fantastic. No, he didn't, Dan. No, he didn't do any of the trailers, any of the posters, or any of the press. And that was the reason why. But that being said, if the whole story is about Luke, and where's Luke, at some point you've got to incorporate Luke. That's all I was saying. I was just disappointed. I was hoping he was going to be in the movie at least for 30 minutes to 40 minutes, not 5 seconds. The entire movie didn't have to be about him, but they didn't incorporate him in it at all. And that's all I was saying. No, they purposely kept him out of the posters and the press and all that. Absolutely. That all I understood. But for me, it's just, I don't know. I mean, again, totally, it wasn't a terrible movie, but it was, just not, to me, it felt like a copy of the story to me. That's all. They're hiding from the First Order, and then they have to go destroy them. So It felt similar. That's all. No, they didn't, Brian. That's true. They didn't really take advantage of those abilities. Dean, what were you talking about here? Hey, I hate to bring up a new topic, but anyone watch The Tick? No, I have not seen The Tick. Dean, I have not seen The Tick at all. I have not seen it yet. Yes, that's the one. I do remember the one, Chris, from Patrick Warburton back in the 90s. I wonder if that's the one Dean's talking about. Now, see, I don't know, Dan. I guess Episode 8 was Luke's movie, but to me, oh, that's a whole nother story. Brian, that is so funny. I didn't even think of that, Brian, but that's very funny. Yeah, it looked like Tony was talking to Darth Vader's helmet. I didn't even. That's so funny. That's very smart. I didn't even think of that. Chris thought of it too. I did not. I didn't even think of that. That is so funny, though. Oh my gosh, yeah. Just like Kylo Ren was talking to his helmet. He's going to finish what he started. That's so funny. Oh my gosh, you're so funny. You guys are so funny. Oh my goodness gracious. But I'm telling you, I think this movie is going to be awesome. I still don't think it's going to be the highest grossing Marvel movie of all time. Black Panther was just kind of a game-changing movie that really defied odds on a lot of different ways, but was such a well-received movie, very popular. People went back 2, 3, 4 times to see it. And I don't think Avengers Endgame will pass that, but I think it'll pass Infinity War, the first one. I do. I think it'll make more money than that one. Tony's Darth Vader. Yeah, we're going to see. We're going to see where the Marvel Universe is going. I think that they are going to go into the whole different universes, time realms type stuff like that. He could go to a galaxy far, far away. But if he's going to, he better find some air quick, because according to the trailer, he'll be out of air within 24 hours. So hopefully he'll get some air. Oh my gosh. But there are trailers coming, guys. There's more coming on this. I'm hoping there'll be a second one. I know this was not a teaser. This was a real trailer. I mean, this trailer was 2.5 minutes long. And maybe they'll give us a little bit more as we get a little bit closer to it. They might not. They might just leave it right there. Oh my God, I love Lego Spider-Man, Dan. I love the Lego games. That's a whole nother story. I don't know if Steve's World's still in here or not. And see, Brian, I don't know what Ultimatum is. Like I said, I'm not I wish I was. I wish I was more of a major fan of that. Did they do 2 or 3? Oh, you know what? They did at least 2. Chris, you're right. They did do a second trailer. That was on Infinity War. So they might come out with another trailer. Probably, let's see, the movie's going to come out in April. We'll probably see a second trailer in January. That would be my guess, is probably when the next one would come out would be January as a second trailer for sure. Because Disney's going to do everything they can to market this and yet keep it secret. Hey, Meg, what's going on? Welcome in. We were talking Avengers Endgame. I just want to do a special live stream on it. I know, like you, who, by the way, fantastic video. I thought you did a great job on it with the Endgame trailer reaction. That was kind of what we were doing. I couldn't. Meg and I talked yesterday. She was sending me a message back and forth, and I was trying to get an idea of how she did her video, and I'm like, how do you do it? How do you do that? I tried to do it, Meg, today, and I couldn't get it to do it. Like, I was able to record the trailer, but the sound didn't come through. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea. Dan, we are not arguing, buddy. You are so totally... You have your opinion on it, bud, and I respect that opinion. And I don't necessarily disagree with your opinion. I just, for me, you know, it's just different. It was just different for me. Meg, you're funny. Wow, Dean, that's pretty good. Oh, your son? He is. Hey, it's still a critic. And is he a prestigious critic? He might very well be. But that, I believe, you should have, did you send it to them, Dean? That would have been cool. That sounds really cool. I'd like to, you'll have to send us the script so we can read it. Oh, Dan, I know, buddy. No problem at all, man. Hey, Star Wars movies are still Star Wars movies. For me, they mean something different because they're my childhood. And that kind of takes me back to my childhood. And I so loved the Star Wars movies when I was a kid. So, that's all. And just for me, I wanted to see when, it had been so long since we had gotten a Luke Skywalker Star Wars movie. And when The Force Awakens came out, I was so looking forward to seeing Luke Skywalker in action again. And I just didn't get it. And maybe that was just because I was expecting too much. Thanos will be defeated by Kermit the Frog. That's so funny. Wouldn't that be cool if they did something like that? Yes, Meg. 110%. This movie is going to be, it's going to be an emotional movie. And it's going to be emotional because it's going to be where we say goodbye to a lot of characters. I think it's going to be where characters that we've seen and grown with and cared about for 10 years, that we're gonna say goodbye to them. That this might be the end for them. Whether they die or whether they go off into the sunset or whether they, whatever they may do, I agree. I think this is going to be a sad movie only because it's going to be sad even if they win and they all go off into the sunset and they live happily ever after. It's still going to be sad because it's going to be the end. It's going to be the last time we see some of these characters that we've known and loved for 10 years. So I agree. Yep, that too. I think the passing of Stan Lee is going to play a big part in that as well. I'm sure there will be some sort of, in memory of him at the end of the movie, somewhere they'll give some kind of kudos to him, some sort of in memoriam. They should, and I'm sure that'll be there as well. Dan, get 2 large popcorns, and that way you won't run out of popcorn halfway through the movie. Don't worry, Peter Parker's going to get a sequel. I'm sure of that, Meg. That's interesting, Dean. Absolutely. That's absolutely cool. Did you send it to them to review it? That's pretty cool. The first movie that, since he passed, will be Captain Marvel, because that one comes first. So Captain Marvel will be the first one since he's passed away, and then after Captain Marvel will be Endgame. Oh my gosh, Chris, that's so funny. Chris said, y'all can let me know how it is. I'm lazy about actually going to the theater. He just saw the first Avengers movies 2 weeks ago for the first time. But you knew what happened already. And see, Chris, I can't do that. That's why I have to go when the movie first comes out. I do not want to be spoiled. I do not want people telling me what happened ahead of time. I yell at my son sometimes. I'm like, don't say nothing about it. I don't want to hear anything because you'll give something away. He gets mad at me. I can't do it. I just can't do it. Yes, Meg. Age of Ultron's not the best movie, I agree, but we did get a lot of information from that movie. So I thought that was really kind of cool too, I agree. My one favorite scene in Age of Ultron is the scene where they're all trying to lift Thor's hammer and they can't move it, but Cap moves it just a little bit and Thor kind of got that scared look on his face. I thought that was really cool. I thought that was really cool. Oh, I'm sorry, Dean. That's too bad, bud. Yeah, I'd love to see it, though. That'd be really cool. I don't know anything about them, but I think it's fantastic that you wrote it. Yes, Meg, for sure. And that's the thing is, I think that's part of, it was a shock to see those characters go, but you really ultimately knew they weren't going anywhere because you knew they were making too much money and you knew they were going to go ahead and have sequels for sure. So, Yeah, they'll be back. I'm sure of that. Dan's watching The Force Awakens right now. That's cool, Dan. Nothing wrong with that, buddy. Brian, I would love to go to the Rams game, but I can't get to California, buddy. That costs too much money. we're poor. It's Christmas time. I would love to go to the Niners game and the Rams game for sure. Chris, the only movie you've seen in the theaters the last 2 years is Solo because we went to the AMC in Disney Springs when we were there. And Solo is the only movie? Oh, it's too bad. Yeah, see, Meg, I just can't. I can't do spoilers. That's why the first day it comes out, I'm there because I want to find out myself. I don't want to be spoiled. You know, Thor, other than Thanos himself, Thor got the most screen time in Infinity War. He was in it the most, they said. Late on Adventures. That's true, and there's a lot of people like that. And that's why I go as quickly as I can, because there are so many people that love to be the ones that talk about movies, and they don't mean to do it to be malicious or anything, but they're so excited they want to tell somebody, so that's why I have to go quickly. Meg, my youngest son, was really upset with that scene with Peter Parker at the end of the movie. That really upset him for about 3 days. And I knew it was coming because I went and saw the movie by myself beforehand, before we went with the family. And I knew when that scene was coming, I just put my hand on his shoulder and I was like, just relax. Get ready. He was so upset. $220 each. Jeez, Brian. Holy macaroni, buddy. Chris, you liked Solo? I did not like Solo at all, Chris. I'm sorry. I did not think it was a very good movie. Iron Man becomes Gold Man. That's funny. Booster Gold. I do love movies too, Dan. But, you know, it's funny. We haven't been to the movies in a while, and two movies we've really wanted to see just came out, which was Fantastic Beasts and Wreck-It Ralph. And I might have to take my Regal gift card that I have from last Christmas, everybody, by the way. This is from last Christmas. And go to the movies with Mason and see one of those two movies. Yes, Meg, tons of buzz about Infinity War. There was tons of buzz. I agree. I try not to spoil movies for folks, and that's why I always ask them. I go up when I start talking about movies with people. I'll say, look, did you see it? And then I'll ask them. I'll say, are you okay to talk about it, or do you want me not to spoil it? Yeah, and that's what I heard, Dan. I heard the same thing about Fantastic Beasts. I heard it was meh. I heard it wasn't as good as the first one. We've really enjoyed the first one. We thought the first one was wonderful. And it was really exciting because we thought, great, you know, we can move the Harry Potter universe forward, incorporate some of the old characters here and there, and tell new stories moving forward. And then you're right, I heard the same thing, and I think that was some of the reason why we haven't gone to see it yet. If we had heard great things about it, I think we would have gone right away. True, Chris, that's a good one. That's a major spoiler. But I had read all the books at that point, so we already knew going in what was going to happen because we had read the books, and because the books, I think the books finished before the movies finished. I'm pretty sure they did. It's not like Game of Thrones, but yeah, I tried to stay away from all spoilers on that kind of stuff too. Yes, book, not movie. Yep, absolutely. Same thing here. Yeah, that one was pretty upsetting, for sure. Yeah, Meg, good one. Yep, Sirius dying was not very... you know, it's funny, out of all the deaths in Harry Potter, there are only two deaths that really upset me. And really upset me to the point that that I got, you know, physically upset. And of course, Professor Dumbledore, because he is my favorite character altogether, and Dobby. Don't ask me why. When Tommy passed, when he died in that book, it made me, I was like crying out loud. I couldn't, it was just, it was so sad. But those are the two, they're the only two that really, really got to me out of all of them. You know, it's crazy in those books. Same thing, Meg. I heard same thing about Ralph Breaks the Internet. I heard it was great, so it might be something we have to go see. And Dan, that's an awesome point. Dan says Fantastic Beasts as the Harry Potter prequels are turning into my feelings of the Star Wars prequels. You know, the first Harry Potter prequel, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I thought Fantastic Beasts was done well. It was different, yet you still felt the Harry Potter mystique and the wizard world. But, you know, it could turn out to be that way. It very well could turn out to be that way. Phantom Gamer says Hedwig. Hedwig was sad too. He was definitely sad. That one was surprising. Yeah, I didn't think they were going to take the time to talk about that one. But yep, I agree. Meg, that one was sad too. Yep. Hey, Angela, welcome in. How are you? Glad you're here. Thanks for stopping in. We were talking about Avengers Endgame and the trailer, and now we're on to Harry Potter. But welcome in. I'm glad you're here. I got you. So who is, out of all the Marvel characters that we've had over the 10 years, and moving forward, let's say, out of all the characters we've had, the main 5 or 6 characters that we've had pretty much almost since day one, of all of them, what's the one character you think you're going to miss the most? An elf to me is Legolas. Chris says, Angela, welcome to the Marvel, Star Wars, Harry Potter discussion. It's true, we're all over the place. That is so funny. Dan says Legolas is the only elf he thinks of. Yes, and now, Chris, we can include Lord of the Rings in that discussion. Tony, 100%. That's funny, Dan. For Chris, it's going to be Thor. He's going to miss Thor. Yep, I'm going to miss all of them. Obviously, I'm going to miss Cap the most for me. I don't know. I still think his movie was Cap. I still think Winter Soldier to me was the best Marvel movie, and we talked about that in one of our other streams. And I just enjoy that character immensely. I just think he's a lot of fun. I think he's very good. He's a good role model. And he'll be the one I miss the most, I think. Oh, totally get it, Meg. That's okay. That's totally fine. See, and for me, I'm the other way with Tony Stark. He's too crass, too cocky, too much of a... I won't say the word. I can't say it on this stream because it's going to be PG, and I don't like that. I don't like that. I like people that are humble. I don't like cocky in a lot of ways. I like people that can be humble and still be themselves and still be good, still be strong, and yet can be humble. But you know, but don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm going to miss Tony Stark too. But we'll see. And I really hope. I really hope that in the end, Cap and Tony make amends, and you know that bond is brought back together, because I think that's important. I'll be really upset if the two of them don't in some way make up, you know, for everything that's happened. Yeah, and that's no, Meg. By all means, it's not a matter, and it's not a matter of bias. You know, you like what you like. And you know, it's always something different. You know, that's, you know, if you look at my characters over the years of the characters I've liked, they're pretty much the same. You know, whether it's Albus Dumbledore, or you know, Gandalf, or whether it's Steve Rogers, or whether it's John Locke, they're always guys that, you know, they're similar in a lot of ways, I think. So yeah, you like what you like, by all means. You know that. You know, some people are met on Cap because of who he is, and that's totally, I understand it. Korg. Damn, that's so funny. Yeah. That would be really funny if they did that. Everybody would be like, what? That would be so funny for sure. All right. Well, look, guys, I was only gonna the porgs, the porgs from Star Wars. Oh my gosh, they could do that. Yeah, they could just show them that sad face. Snow White defeats Thanos. She's gonna need a lot of help. But doesn't it interest you guys to see how they're gonna do it? What are they gonna do? How are they gonna do it? How are they gonna defeat him? What are they gonna do? Okay, let's say they go back in time. Okay, so they go back in time. Well, what does going back in time, what is that going to do? How is that going to defeat him? What are they going to do? Are they going to go get the Infinity Stones before he gets them and hide them? How are they going to defeat him? That's the part of the movie that I think is going to be interesting. We're there, Dan. You just tell us where, buddy. But I think that'll be interesting. You know, how are they going to do it? How are they going to do this? How are they going to defeat him? What's the plot twist here? What's the story? What's the vision? I think that's pretty cool. No pun intended when I said vision. Yep. Doctor Strange knows. He knows how it was done. So he's the only one that knows how it was done. And if you notice in the movie too, yeah, I assume, Meg, I assume it's going to be the quantum realm in some way. But how? You know, what do they do? What did they do that actually defeats him? Do they use the stones against him because they get them before him? You know, I'll be interested to see how they do that. If you noticed, the word Endgame was actually in Infinity War. And does everybody know who said it? Yep, yeah, absolutely. He says, we're in the end game now. Yep, Doctor Strange. Yep, it's funny. He says it. So obviously they had the vision all along of what the name of the movie was going to be because they incorporated it and we didn't even know it. In Infinity War. Yep, Doctor Strange. He goes, we're in the end game now. And, you know, I'm going to miss all these characters no matter what. I think it's kind of an end of an era for sure. And a start of a new one. And we'll see. I'm interested to see if they're still going to be the same love affair for these new characters that we've had for the old ones. Yeah, that's interesting, Meg. You know, will he come back? He might. He very well might. I'll be interested to see if he does or not. But, all right, guys. Well, we are running well over an hour at this point. I only expected to be on for about 30 minutes, and yet we've been on for an hour. So I definitely appreciate everybody coming out. Please hit that hit the like button before you leave. Definitely helps the stream. If you could, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I think everybody that's in here has. I definitely appreciate it. Please go out and see our friends, all the folks that are in here, Disney Dan, Steve's World, Mickey's Magic, R. John's. We got Late on Adventures in here as well, a new one. Thank you for being in here. Pirate Princess Red was in here earlier. Noah's in here. Had some really wonderful people. I definitely appreciate all of you coming out. We had a good time. Go Team Mouse Talk. But I had a great time with all of you. Yes, of course. Thank you, Dan. Disney Fiasco tonight on Disney Dan's channel. Be sure to step in. Stop in. I'll be there for fun and support as well. Meg will be there. Yes, hashtag new sub. That would be great. But Meg, who's really taken off, got a lot of subs, has been doing really well as well. But Dan's got episode 30 of Disney Fiasco tonight. So it's going to be a special stream. And we'll be sure to be there. And I hope you guys are there. Just go out to Disney Dan's channel and subscribe. This is for anybody that's watching on the replay as well. And I thank you all for joining me. I had a great time talking about it. What is a Disney Fiasco? Meg, you'll find out tonight at 7. But I enjoyed it. I definitely had a good time talking about Avengers Endgame. I'm very excited about the movie. Kind of don't want it to get here, but I do want it to get here because I know when it gets here, that'll be it. Then it'll be over for a lot of our favorite characters. But I had a great time with you guys. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Surprise stream. It means a lot to us. Melissa's in the other room doing her Christmas card. She makes Christmas cards, guys. One of these days I'm going to show you the cards she makes. She won't let me show anybody. I'll have to show you one time. They're very nice. But thanks, everybody. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. Be sure to check out the live place as well, Dreamers Empire. Dean does a great job over there. Again, please hit that like button on your way out, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care of yourselves and each other. See y'all soon. Bye-bye. Go Team Cap.